Hello my loves, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a new pick a card reading, as you guys can see. This one is where you'll be in 3 years from now. I decided to pick the number 3 because, well, Nikola Tesla loves the number 3. 3 is a beautiful number, it's an exciting number, so I thought it would be cool to implement in a tarot reading. I know it's kind of weird because a lot of people do year, 5 years, or 10 years. Those numbers kind of make a little bit more sense, but number 3 is what we're going for, and all years are interesting. So let's find out where you guys are going to be 3 years from now. If you guys are new to pick a card readings, I'm going to give you guys a quick little rundown of how they work. So basically over here we have pile number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you can take a moment to pause the video if you'd like to find the pile that you're the most drawn to. Once you're done choosing your pile, you can scroll down to the comment box or the description box to find the timestamp that's linked to your specific card, so you can skip ahead to your personal reading. And if you guys like to pick with crystals, at the bottom of the cards, I'm going to pop some crystals on there right now. All right, so if you guys like to choose the crystals, here are our crystal options. So over here we have some rose quartz. This is some spirit quartz, some aura spirit quartz. And then over here is some black kyanite. This over here is flower agate. And then over here is some zeolite, which is like apophyllite basically. So if you guys like to choose with crystals, choose your crystal now. You can pause the video if you'd like. And then once you know your crystal that you guys chose and your card that you chose, you can scroll down to the comment box or the description box to find the timestamp that's linked to that specific card, so you can skip ahead to your personal reading and find out what your life is going to be like 3 years from now. So without further ado, let's get started. All right, so if you guys chose pile number 1, this is going to be your reading for where you're going to be at in 3 years from now. So let's hop right into it. All right, so pile number 1, this is what we have for you guys. So we start off with the Wheel of Fortune, then we have the Lovers, then we have the 10 of Cups reversed, and then we have the 6 of Wands reversed. So immediately what I'm getting from this is that you guys aren't going to be at your peak yet, but you're going to be going through a huge upscale and things are going to really start to pour in and feel like they're going really smoothly. I feel like you guys are just about to embark on your actual life mission, your actual destiny. Like things are just coming together in 3 years from now like they never have before, and you feel so in alignment. But the good thing about not being at your peak yet is the fact that the climb to get to your peak is probably the most fun, and once you're at the peak, usually it's downhill from there. But the fact of life is that we have many peaks and that we keep going up and down and up and down and up and down. So that's the fun of life. We never just peak and then that's it. So for you guys, I really do see like your biggest soul's purpose, your biggest life's mission is just going to be starting 3 years from now, is what I'm really picking up. The Wheel of Fortune always signifies that we are in the middle of manifesting a bunch of really great things, and we've dealt with all of our karma from the past, and now we're raking in all of the good karma, and things are just going our way. Everything in life just seems to pour in, and it's in your favor, and you just feel really good. It just feels like everything's on the rise, and everything's on the up and up, and there's much abundance and much growth, and money's going up, love is going up. Every aspect of your life will be improving 3 years from now, and it just feels like, everything is purposeful and meant to be and so exciting and good. The fact that we have the Lovers next, some of you guys might already be in a relationship. I feel like that relationship will be at a way next level in 3 years from now, where either you guys are going to be just married or maybe engaged and you're just really planning your future together. If you guys are single right now, I feel like 3 years from now, you're going to be in a relationship and it's going to be a very soulful, positive relationship. It's not going to be a toxic relationship. So if some of you guys are single because of the fact of maybe toxic relationships or just relationships that haven't even worked out in the past, I do feel like in 3 years from now, you're going to be with that partner, your soulmate, or at least somebody who treats you so well, even if they're not going to be your soulmate. But I feel like for most of you guys, 3 years from now, you're going to be with your forever person, and that person is just going to be a complete match for you, and you're going to feel so good with them. The Lovers upright does indicate that you two are like soulmates, twin flames, that kind of energy that you're going to have in 3 years from now. It doesn't mean that if you guys are in a relationship that relationship is going to change into something else. It could mean that you're already with them, but you're just taking the next step. Again, it is a general reading, so I'm trying to encompass all of you guys who probably chose this pile. So for some of you guys, the relationship that you're currently in is going to last and blossom into a beautiful next stage where it just feels like everything has heightened and that positivity is just again like pouring in. And then again, yeah, for some of you guys who are single, you are going to be with a soulmate twin flame, with your soulmate or twin flame. So our next card being the Ten of Cups reversed, I do feel like you still have these big goals in mind that haven't quite come to fruition. We do have Mars over here and Pisces, so it's ruled by those two signs, this card. And that really signifies like Mars energy is your drive and your motivation. I'm really feeling like in terms of career, I feel like you guys are still gonna have a ton of drive, even in terms of your relationship and where you see your family life going and stuff like that. I feel like you're still being driven by a big force of wanting to create more and do more and get to the next level. I do feel like there's a big influx of like motivation and desire in this point of your life in 3 years from now, where you guys are going to want to expand your family even, which is why we have the 10 of Chalices over here. But it just might be that you guys can't do that yet, but maybe you guys are daydreaming of these sort of things at this point and trying to plan for them in your future or even in the near future for you guys. The Pisces symbol over here, this is kind of like our spirituality, the deeper things that we didn't realize we wanted in life are finally going to surface for you guys. And so there's a couple things in 3 years from now that you guys are going to desire that you probably don't even want right now because it's just not in your field of focus at the moment. But in 3 years from now, I feel like some new desires are going to be popping up for you guys just because of all the good karma that you're raking in. I feel like your current desires are probably based on the current karma that you've been feeling already, and your desires at the moment are probably backed by a feeling of lack or a feeling of I need to do this or I'm supposed to do this without having a true foundation of who you really are or your true purpose at the moment. But it will be a huge shift in 3 years from now where I think you guys, or I feel like you guys are definitely on the verge of bringing in massive change and bringing in these new desires in order to execute and go after them. The next card that we have is the Six of Wands reversed, which is ruled by Jupiter and Leo. So this is about being noticed, about being recognized for your gifts. And I feel like even in 3 years from now, I don't feel like you guys are going to be fully immersed into your life's purpose, but you're just on the cusp of entering what that is. I feel like you guys will have just figured out who you are, which is why we have the Lovers upright. Whenever it's reversed, sometimes it can indicate that we haven't really figured out who we are. When it's upright, you've finally figured out your soul, who you are on the inside and who you are on the outside. And it is also because I think this relationship really helped you see that. This relationship that you're going to be having, it just makes you feel so much more you than you've ever felt before. And it's going to drive you to realizing what your true life purpose is. And that recognition hasn't quite come in yet at 3 years from now, but I feel like you're embarking onto it. You're in the planning stage of realizing, okay, I want to do this with my life. I need to do this in order to make this happen, in order to do the thing. It's going to be all those kind of nitty-gritty things that we have to figure out before the actual blossoming of our true soul's purpose has come to fruition. If you guys feel like you've already found your purpose and you've found your career and all that kind of stuff, I promise you in 3 years from now, it's going to take an entirely new direction, or at least it'll be expanded in some way that you cannot see right now. Even if you guys feel like, ooh, I can see where I might be going in 3 years from now, trust me, there's some new stuff coming in 3 years from now that you currently cannot see that you're going to be really inspired by, and you're going to be in the planning stages of that. And I also feel like a lot of your desires will shift at that time. So probably where you see yourself being in 3 years from now at the moment is going to drastically change in the next 3 years. So definitely keep a lookout for that. Our next two cards that we have is Moon Soul and Saturn Return. So some of you guys, if you're around your mid-20s, 3 years from now, you're going to be going through your Saturn return. So that's always a significant, massive change for you guys if you are mid-20s right now, because your Saturn return happens at 28 and a half years. So that is always when we enter true adulthood, where we cement in who we are, and all of a sudden we're less flexible and we're very ingrained into who we are. So in the next 3 years, get on it, get on track, especially if you are mid-20s, because you're about to cement in who you truly are. And usually we go through some big changes and big realizations during our Saturn return. Since we have a lot of green over here, I do also want to mention this is very connected to the heart chakra, which again brings me back to the relationships. I do feel like you guys are going to be in a very loving, very supportive relationship in 3 years from now, one that's very good for your well-being, somebody that's a really true match for you, and I feel like you're going to go through a lot of heart healing. This is also the bridge between the physical and the esoteric world, so I feel like you're finally going to be bridging your dreams together. The things that you've always desired are finally going to bridge into the physical world for you, so that you actually live them in this physical world. And then also the moon of soul. This is talking about our emotions, and so I feel like you're going to be so emotionally aligned to everything. It's going to feel really, really good, although there's massive big things that are still to come. The next two cards that we have is back and forth and fear. So where should I put these cards? I'm going to put them right below these. All right. So back and forth and fear. I do feel like you guys might be challenged with a back and forth type of emotion in terms of maybe your relationship or where you want to go in life. I feel like, again, we were talking about that bridge, and this kind of has a bridge in it where you guys are back and forth between, okay, I've desired this, but now I'm headed in this direction, and you're manifesting all these things into your life really quickly in 3 years from now, but wherever your focus goes is where you're going to end up. So definitely keep that in mind 3 years from now, and on your journey from now until 3 years from now, there's going to be this back and forth type of wavy sort of feeling of back here, back there, and it's going to be a little bit topsy-turvy, because I feel like you guys are going to go through a massive change in 3 years from now in terms of all of a sudden positive things are happening, but it's going to bring in new desires for you. So part of you is going to want to complete those old desires, which you will, but I also feel like you guys are going to go in this new direction. Fear coming up can also indicate that during this time you're going to go through probably a massive internal change, and it might cause some fear for you in terms of like your desires of what you always wanted is probably going to be quite different, and I think it's going to be a little bit like, whoo, oh my goodness. There might be a lot of looking into the past, since both of these people are looking backwards over here, so probably a lot of reminiscing, stuff like that. Let's add in some more cards though to find out some more information. So next we have potential, and then we also have enlightenment. All right, so with these two cards, wow, you're going to enter a whole new physical potential for yourself, where so much more opportunity is going to open up for you guys, more than you ever have realized. Your potential is also going to be raising, again, with that Wheel of Fortune upright. I feel like every aspect of your life is going to be getting more and more abundant. Like your finances are going to be more abundant, your material wealth, your physical health, your relationship, your career, anything and everything that you could dream of is going to raise so much and be so much more abundant than it is right now. The enlightenment card over here, I do feel like you're going to be on this new soul journey, especially since we also do have the moon. And this is more of like realizing, again, who you really are. I feel like these two cards really signify like connecting to your soul. And the enlightenment card is almost like turning on a light bulb internally and realizing who you really are. The next two cards right here that we have are, this could be the one, and children. So like I was saying, some of you guys might be really thinking about expanding your family. This could be something that even if you're not thinking of right now, you're probably going to change your thoughts of it in 3 years from now. I know some of you guys that watch my videos don't think about having kids at all right now, but the fact that this is coming up, I do feel like in 3 years from now, you're going to start to desire to have kids and start daydreaming about what it would be like to have a family, that kind of stuff. Maybe you guys already do that. And then for some of you guys, I really do think that you're going to be planning on having children. For those of you that are of age and that you're already with somebody, I do feel like you're going to either have had children 3 years from now, or you're going to be all of a sudden embarking on the journey of starting your own family, especially if you do if you are in a relationship and you guys plan on doing that if you're of age. I know some of you guys watch my videos and you're really young, so that is not going to apply to all of you. That's more of daydreaming about having children and finally desiring to have children. If you guys are older and you're already an adult, I do see you guys most likely having children 3 years from now, so definitely keep that in mind. And then this could be the one, is again just signifying the exact romance between you and your partner and your lover over here, that this is your person. I do feel like you're going to have found your person in 3 years from now, the person that you're going to marry, be with for the rest of your life, that kind of stuff. The last card that we have over here is discernment. So again, I feel like you're going to really decide who you are and find out who you are. The clouds above her right now kind of signify that at the moment you might even think you know who you are, but I feel like again that's going to change quite drastically in the next 3 years, and you're finally going to decide and actually find out who you are, especially if you guys are about to go through a Saturn return or are going through one right now. 3 years from now, I feel like there's going to be a huge change in really discovering who you are at your truest core. So that's what I see for you guys. Pile number 1, I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. If you did, don't forget to give it a really big thumbs up for me. Hit that subscribe button down below if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys. All right, so group number 2, if you guys chose this pile, this is gonna be your reading about where you're gonna be 3 years from now. So let's hop right into it. All right, so group number 2, this is what I have for you guys. So we start off with the Aeon reversed, then we have Art upright, and then we have the Knight of Wands upright, and then we have the Queen of Cups reversed. So what I'm really seeing for you guys is this kind of battle between who you think you are and who you really are, which is what I'm getting from seeing these two people kind of in this dance, and I feel like they're kind of like the opposites over here. And then the fact that we have the Knight of Wands upright and the Queen of Cups being reversed. I do feel like you guys are going to be in this period of transition in 3 years from now. So I do feel like you guys are going to be almost lightening up your spirits and lightening up your mood. I feel like you guys are transitioning from this sort of like darker energy to this lighter energy over here. I do feel like you guys are going to be almost like reinventing yourself, which is why we also have Art. I feel like you guys are going to see yourself in a whole new light, whatever your style is right now, whatever things that you're attracted to, the way that you decorate your house, or like kind of more of the artsy things. So I'm seeing this in more of a material way in terms of like style, hair color, things that you're attracted to, possibly even the art that you do. If you guys do any sort of art, this could be like music, the type of music that you listen to, the type of music that you might make, the art that you might paint or draw, the style that you do it in. I feel like there's lots of change happening. If you guys don't do art, then it's just talking about the other physical things that are around you. If you guys do actually dabble in the arts and create art, I feel like it's going to take a whole new twist and turn in your life. I also, again, see you guys kind of finding out who you really are and almost testing out who you really are. I feel like this isn't like a true I have found who I am. I feel like you guys are somebody who just transitions a lot throughout life in general. And I feel like you guys change your mind and you want to try a lot of new things in life anyway. So you guys are a very creative soul. And because of that, I don't feel like you actually feel like you have found yourself almost ever through life. It's almost like you find yourself one year and then it changes the next, and then it changes again, and then it changes again. And you guys are constantly changing. Maybe you guys like to move a lot even, or maybe you even just desire to move a lot because there's lots of things that you desire to change. The Aeon being over here reversed is letting me know that you're very connected to the universe, but I feel like in 3 years from now, you're going to be deepening that connection with the universe and really finding out who you are. And this is just like a very experimental time, I feel like. Like you guys are experimenting with, okay, what do I really want to do with my life? What is my career going to be? Or maybe I want to change up my career a little bit. Or even if you guys already know your career, somehow you're wanting to transform it a little bit, reinvent it, repaint it, slap on a new logo type of thing. And I feel like you guys are constantly going through this change, but it's because you like to experience new things. I also feel like you guys are going to be traveling quite a bit, because these two cards do indicate travel to me. The Knight of Wands also indicates moving, and so in 3 years from now, I do see that you guys will be moving, possibly also traveling quite a bit. You guys are a soul that is hard to pin down, is hard to keep down. I feel like you guys are quite a fiery person. So Just keep that in mind. The Queen of Cups being reversed over here though, this is kind of like feeling not fulfilled. And so I feel like a part of you, the reason why you try to change up things so often, and the reason why you like to possibly move or travel or constantly change up your style, things like that, is because you haven't really found a true fulfillment yet, which is why we have the Queen of Cups being reversed. And I feel like you're finally going to be searching and seeking that ultimate fulfillment in 3 years from now. I do see most of you guys who chose this pile, I do see most of you being single or possibly just, you know, seeing somebody, but it's a little bit more casual. I don't see a permanency here for most of you. Again, it is a general reading, so if you guys are already in a relationship and you don't see that relationship ending, I'm not saying that it's going to have ended by 3 years from now. Definitely not saying that at all. Because again, it is a general reading. So pick out the parts that seem the most valid to you. But for most of you, I'm saying most of you are definitely going to be possibly single or just in kind of more casual type of relationships. The next two cards that we have over here is the second house of owning and then the third house of messages. So the second house of owning, which is Taurus, I do feel like you guys are more minimalistic, especially in terms of moving, but I do feel like you guys are changing up your style because the second house, since it is ruled by Taurus, this deals with changing up your hairdo, your personal style, how you dress yourself, your decor around your home. It's kind of redoing those sort of things. And it does also rule the actual physical arts. And so if you guys are pretty artsy in any sort of way or dabble in any sort of arts, like culinary arts, painting arts, musical arts, anything, theater art, I feel like you guys are still on your way to creating more of that. Third house of messages. I do feel like you're expanding your social circle. I feel like you guys are a little bit of a social butterfly at this time, but also I feel like there's a sense of like longing here. And since you guys are moving around quite often and traveling quite often, it could mean that more of your friendships are on the superficial level and nothing's super close to you at this time. And I do feel like 3 years from now, you're still going to have this very free bird, free spirit type of energy, and you're not really tied down to anything very permanent. The next two cards that we have over here is conflict and present power. So present power and then conflict. I do feel like there's this kind of like more of an internal battle happening for you guys in terms of like where to go in the world and where you actually belong, which is why we also have the second house coming up. This is like you're starting to wonder what your foundation really is. And again, you're moving and I feel like your sailboat's like tugging you almost in a different direction. And it's almost like you can't really control your own life. It's like you're always moving, you're constantly, change just finds its way to you. So even if you do find a permanent job, all of a sudden something happens and you end up having to leave that job or change locations or something like that. It seems like you guys are constantly being shifted around the world, but it's because it's developing you as a person. It's developing you into who you are, which is why we have present power. And I feel like this is going to actually make you a very strong and very wise, well-rounded person because of the fact that you're going to have seen so much in your life. And so it doesn't mean that you're never going to settle down. It just means in 3 years from now, even, you're still going to be that really free-spirited, hard to tie down type of person. The next two cards that we have over here is action and then purification. So I do feel like you're almost going to maybe become more minimalistic in terms of like what you have, which is why we have purification over here. This can also mean that you are, the reason why you move around so much and change up so much is because you're constantly wanting a new identity, because you're constantly feeling like you want to heal the past or forget about the past, create this new identity, this new self, so that you can finally become who you truly see yourself as, the internal feelings of who you desire to be that are actually real parts of you. You're wanting to reinvent yourself in order to have those parts come up and reflect. And so you're always doing this purification of yourself, which I feel like you're going to be doing even more 3 years from now. This action card over here tells me that you guys, again, are moving around quite a bit. I feel like opportunities are flowing in to move, to travel, to do all these different things. And it's keeping you as a free bird, but it is also, it's helping you heal. It's helping you purify who you are. So that's definitely a good thing over there. there. Second house is also telling me that in 3 years from now, I do feel like your finances are going to be increased compared to right now. So definitely keep that in mind as well. And the next two cards that we have for our love cards are Love Yourself First and Getting to Know Each Other. So that's actually really interesting. I love when, you know, the tarot cards say one thing. I never actually see what the other cards are until we're in the middle of the reading, like right now. And all of these cards are really giving me that single free bird type of lifestyle, or just a very casual thing. And it's really interesting that we have the two love cards that completely reflect that exact same essence, because we have Love Yourself First, which again, I feel like you guys are learning to love yourself first, which is why we're constantly going through these purifications and finding out who you really are in order for you to fully love yourself and fully feel like you are showing all of the beautiful parts of yourself that you feel need to be shown. And then getting to know each other. I do feel like you guys are in more of a casual thing, if anything at all. And the fact that we do have getting to know each other seems like, you know, things are going slow, things are a bit more casual. You're getting to know other people in your life. I feel like you're going to be seeing quite a few different people, which is why we have the third house underneath here. I feel like you guys are going to be pretty present on social media in terms of meeting new people, seeing these people, talking to these people. Nothing seems very permanent and very stable though in terms of like relationships. You guys are stably unstable, I guess you could say, because you're very used to this type of lifestyle. I feel like even if you don't feel like you have that lifestyle right now, this is showing me that you're going to have that lifestyle in 3 years from now, and it feels like stably unstable is the best way I can explain it, because the Knight of Wands, he knows what he's doing, he knows what he's going after, he is pretty quick at it, and he's very action oriented. So you guys have that sort of like essence pushing you forward in a stable manner, but yet it's still pretty hectic to most people in terms of stability. So I do feel like, again, you are probably getting to know other people in your life. I don't feel like you're going to be lonely necessarily. I feel like you're going to be surrounded by a lot of people, but I don't see any permanence in terms of relationships around you. The last card that we have is Attraction, which is ruled by the number 44. You guys might see the number 44 around a lot. It is an angel number, so 4s indicate we're finding our foundation. We are realizing what our foundation is. And so this is what you guys are currently creating, but it's going about it in a very explorative manner. And attraction, I do feel like you're going to attract all of your desires, but I feel like you're going through a transition of really discovering who you are and experimenting with who you are and that kind of stuff in order to really find yourself and find out all these different pieces, because I feel like you feel like you're a scattered box of so many different facets, and you guys are changing up so many different styles in order to find out which facets fully feel you and feel and how it can all connect together in one full circle. It's almost like you guys want to live in every single direction, but you're finding out which facets can fit with you the best in order to fully complete your circle into a stable piece. So that's what I see for you guys, pile number 2. I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. If you did, don't forget to give it a really big thumbs up for me. Hit that subscribe button down below if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys. All right, so pile number 3, if you guys chose this pile, this is going to be your reading all about where you're going to be 3 years from now. So let's hop right into it. All right, so group number 3, this is what we have for you guys. So we start off with the Hierophant reversed, and then we have the 4 of Pentacles reversed, and then we have the, this is the Princess of Chalices, which is the Cups, the Page of Cups essentially. And then over here we have the Queen of Pentacles being reversed. And so I know there's a lot of reversals in this pile over here, but reversals aren't always a bad thing. They just give us more insight into exactly what is going on at this current moment or future moment of your life, because this is 3 years from now. So what I'm getting from this is you guys are going to be going through a major spiritual awakening 3 years from now, a very deep one, in fact. And you're almost going to be letting go of a lot of the physical things that you once believed, or a lot of the old belief systems that you had. Even if you feel like you're pretty spiritual right now, oh my goodness, in 3 years from now, you guys, you're going through a pretty big spiritual awakening, I see. And it's almost like rediscovering who you are, which is why we have these two reversed over here. It's like you're really questioning who you are and what you once believed and your emotions in certain things, and really kind of almost doing some shadow work into healing your emotional past and that kind of stuff. And so 3 years from now, huge spiritual awakening. I do see this in a good way. I know some of you guys choose the piles and you're constantly getting sort of the same message. And so if you guys have always been getting this message of like, ooh, spiritual awakening, it's probably here to tell you something that you need to hear, and that's why you keep getting it. So don't ever get frustrated if you keep hearing the same message. Spiritual awakenings are actually so positive. They're pretty difficult for most of us. They can be really fun as well, really enlightening, and they always leave us with beautiful gifts at the end of them. So don't ever be worried about them. They're so amazing in so many ways, so enjoy it. I actually really like when I get a pile like this and it's all like spiritual awakening. I'm like, ooh, come at me. I love it. So I do feel like you guys are going to be going through a massive spiritual awakening, kind of questioning your faith, questioning old belief systems of yours. The Four of Pentacles, which we have the Sun and Capricorn over here. Capricorn is usually like, you know, we follow what society says. We're very proper. We believe in, you know, the very logical, proven, physical things. And when it's reversed, it's like, ooh, we're going through a bit of a deeper journey, a deeper awakening where we might start believing in the more esoteric stuff and the more non-physical things, and we're realizing more about energy and more about who we really are and what we really do believe in. So I do feel like you guys are going to be going through that sort of like spiritual awakening, especially since Hierophant is upside down. That is the first giveaway sign that you guys are going to be going through a spiritual awakening and questioning a lot of your faith. And then the Princess of Cups, Page of Cups being reversed. I do feel like you're going to be having like these ideas that are way out of the box. But you might also be questioning your ideas and what you've done before and your current way of thinking and your current way of doing things. And I feel like you're going to explore way outside of the box than you ever have before. But it's going to be a little bit confusing 3 years from now. I feel like the stuff that you're going to be awakening to or exploring 3 years from now is going to be even more confusing than what you currently know, and a bit deeper than even what you currently know, into a point where it's like, whoa, what is all that? And the Queen of Pentacles being reversed, this is questioning your physical reality, questioning your physical sense, and probably also wanting to, I feel like you're going to go on such a deep spiritual journey that I feel like you're going to get rid of a lot of your physical items and physical belongings. I feel like you guys are going to go into a very minimal type of way of living, and yeah, you guys also might be really desiring on like traveling or doing retreats or doing things that are quite outside of the box. I feel like you guys might also go through some job changes as well when we have the Queen of Pentacles being reversed. It doesn't mean that's going to be the case for all of you, but I feel like for a majority of you that are watching this, you're going to be going through a career change, since we have the Queen of Pentacles being reversed. And then also the Four of Pentacles is like our foundation's changing. So I feel like you guys might also be moving or downsizing your house, somehow doing something where you are getting rid of a lot of physical items that once surrounded you. So definitely keep that in mind. And the next two cards that we have over here is Jupiter Return Benefits and Part of Fortune Increase. That's very interesting, since I was just saying you guys are going to be getting rid of a lot of things because that's what the tarot cards are showing. And then we have two cards that talk about increasing. Very interesting. So it could be that you guys are increasing so much abundance. I feel like you guys are getting rid of physical things though. In terms of all the things that you own, I feel like you're going to be getting rid of a lot. The Jupiter return and the part of fortune, so the benefits and the increase, I feel like is going to be in your spirituality, how you feel about yourself. Also in terms of how much money you're probably making, I feel like there's going to be a big abundance and increase in the amount of money that you're bringing into your life. But then again, I feel like you're not going to want to own as much at the same time. I feel like you guys are going to be very attracted to minimalism. So definitely keep that in mind as well. Also with Jupiter return, I feel like, yeah, your whole life is just kind of increasing in a massive way in terms of what you do and what you know. I feel like your mind is expanding. Your natural talents and gifts, I feel like, are going to bubble back up to the surface, even if you've put them on hold or haven't really been focusing on them lately. I feel like also new gifts are going to be found during this time, and new talents that you didn't even realize that you had are going to be coming up on the forefront in 3 years from now. Part of fortune is also like we realize what our true talents and true gifts are, and we really start to wake up to those and realize that we want to be doing that instead of doing our old stuff, which is probably also why I'm seeing a big career change for you guys. The next two cards that we have is dark thoughts and your higher self. So very interesting. Your higher self, I really feel like, again, that talks about your spiritual awakening, connecting to your higher self, becoming your higher self, really connecting to that higher consciousness that is you and fully expanding into that, your awareness into that, all that jazz. Dark thoughts, I do feel like, again, you guys are going through a like shadow work sort of purge of your emotional past and things that you haven't confronted before and things that you're realizing that you need to confront in order to transmute them into something that actually serves you and something that's positive. So you will be going on a big consciousness journey at this time. The next two cards that we have is fulfillment. Ooh, I like that coming up. And then solitude. So whenever we're going through a spiritual awakening, most of the time we are in solitude. So I feel like that's why the solitude card is coming up right now. So I do feel like you guys are going to be, it doesn't mean you're going to be completely alone in 3 years from now, but I do feel like a lot of time will be spent alone and really like diving deep into esoteric stuff and like all these new different ideas, spiritual awakening kind of stuff. Fulfillment, I do feel like you guys are going to be finding your fulfillment. You're going to be finding that abundance, which is why we have Jupiter return in part of fortune. You're going to be finding what really actually pleases you on a deeper level, which is really connected to your higher purpose, your higher destiny, and your higher self. The next two cards that we have over here is finances and career. Of course, we have this card coming up, and true love. So like I was saying, I do feel like you guys are going to go through a career change in 3 years from now. So definitely keep that in mind. It's so funny because I think I've said this in a couple readings already, but I never see the cards before I lay them out. This is the first time I see them. I pick them while they're upside down, put them into piles. I don't see what any of them are. And so as I'm reading them, I only see what they are as I lay them out on the table. And so I was already detecting like career changes over here, and then all of a sudden we have finances and career actually come up in the reading. And so I do feel like, yeah, you're definitely going to be switching up your career. Also, I know the card below here says financial issues are a factor in your love life right now, but I feel like this card is just actually more or less talking about the actual career change that I saw for you guys, although this can have some significance for some of you as well, the wording at the bottom. True love over here, I do feel like you guys are going to be on the journey of finding true love. I feel like this is a huge true love with yourself as well, though, but I feel like you're going to realize what you really want in a partner. You guys might be in a relationship at this time. For some of you guys, I feel like are going to be completely alone in solitude, though some of you guys might have a love partner throughout this whole thing. If you guys are already in a loving partnership, there's nothing here that says it's going to end or something new is coming. You guys could still be in that same partnership. If you guys are single, I do feel like you guys are going to be on the lookout for what you really want in terms of true love. But I do feel like you guys are going to have some sort of transition in your love life during this time. So if you guys are in a relationship, I feel like you're going to really realize what you want in your relationship, and you're going to be able to make those things very clear and be able to find fulfillment there if you felt unfulfilled at all in your love life. I feel like it's going to reach a new level of fulfillment, of fulfilling each other. If you guys are single, I feel like you guys are going to really realize what you want, and you're going to begin attracting those things into your life and manifesting them into your life. So definitely be on the lookout for that. I feel like for some of you guys, 3 years and 6 months from now, you're probably going to meet somebody, if you're single, somebody that actually is like your true love soulmate, by the way. I know that sounds like a lot of time for some of you guys, but trust me, when it's true love, your true soulmate, it is so worth the wait. The next card that we have over here is beginnings. So you're beginning a whole new journey, a whole new life at this point. And I do feel like there's going to be a huge new beginning in terms of finances and career. I also feel like true love is going to have a new beginning in terms of if you guys are in a relationship, you're finally going to revamp that whole ideal and the whole foundation of that relationship into something that is actually very fulfilling. And if you guys are single, I feel like this is a whole new beginning of realizing what you actually deserve, what's actually good for you and what you actually want. And you're going to reach a whole new beginning in terms of your spirituality and what you really believe and all that jazz. So that's what I'm saying for you guys, pile number 3. I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. If you did, don't forget to give it a really big thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button down below if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys. All right, so group number 4, if you guys chose this pile, this is going to be your reading all about where you're going to be 3 years from now. So let's hop right into it. All right, so group number 4, this is what I have for you guys. So we start off with the 8 of Pentacles, then we have the 10 of Swords, then we have the 6 of Pentacles, and then we have the 3 of Swords. So all of these cards are upright. Let's get into what these mean. So I do want to point out we also do have the Sun and Virgo, the Sun and Gemini, the Moon and Taurus, and then Saturn and Libra over here. So let's get into this. I feel like you guys are going to be going through a major transition 3 years from now. I do feel like you're going to be letting go of a lot of different things in your life. This is almost like going through a big purge. And yeah, let's talk about that. So starting off, I do feel like with the 8 of Pentacles, you guys are going to be working really hard. Your focus is going to be pretty on point. It's going to be pretty straight. I feel like you guys are going to really realize what you want in your life, and you're going to be doing a lot of self-work. I do feel like this is like a whole renovation of the self. I feel like this is also a renovation of possibly things around you, possibly your home. But I feel like there's going to be a drive and motivation. I feel like all of a sudden you guys are going to be pretty clear in your head, a whole new level of clarity that you've never experienced before. I do feel like there's more clarity to be had throughout your life, but in terms of where you're currently at, I feel like 3 years from now is gonna almost be like you got hit on the side of the head with a ball and you're realizing, oh my gosh, I need to change up so many things in my life. I feel like you guys are already knowing a little bit of it right now. You're probably already seeing a little bit of it at the moment, but 3 years from now is finally gonna be the time where this transition fully takes place. And this transition is, if you guys are in a relationship, I do see a certain relationship ending at this time. This could be a friendship, or it could be an actual romantic partnership. So definitely keep that in mind, but I do feel like there's a major relationship ending. And again, I do want to repeat, this could be a friendship, a very close friendship. And this isn't like a quick friendship that's ending. It's not like a very surface level friendship ending. This is something that was pretty near and dear to you. So I do see a certain significant relationship ending, and it could also be a romantic partnership or a friendship. I just wanted to repeat that because I wanted to make sure you guys were clear that it could be either of those. But I do feel like you're focused. You're going to be very focused on your work. You're going to be very focused on what you want to create for yourself. And I feel like you're going to be kind of ending and purging out a relationship that you know no longer serves you or wasn't right for the long term anyway. And I feel like there's going to be a big lesson in that. I feel like you guys are going to learn so much from what you guys have learned from the relationship and also from ending this certain relationship. So definitely keep all of that in mind. And then also with the 6 of Pentacles, again, that's a very work hard, doing things type of card. I do feel like you're going to be on the up and up in terms of your career and in terms of how much money you're making. So yeah, and I do feel like you're somehow investing money or possibly focusing on what you want to create monetarily for you guys. And somehow career or learning or focusing on who you are and what you want to be in the world is a huge prominent focus 3 years from now. So yeah, keep that in mind. I do feel like you're still going to be working at a very similar job that you're currently working at, but it's going to be expanding in so many different ways, either promotion, or maybe if you guys own a business, you're expanding it even more. Or if you guys are currently going to school, I feel like you guys are going to finally be almost working in a field of the sort in 3 years from now. And your focus is going to be majorly on yourself and your career and your money and your material wealth and stuff like that. But yeah, definitely the relationship that I see that's ending, it just somehow needed to end during this time. So the Gemini over here that we have is someone that you used to talk to a lot, somebody that's in your life a lot. And there's going to be a lot of conversations to be had around this. I don't think it's a quick end. I feel like there's going to be lots to be said around this ending of this certain friendship or partnership that you guys had. Again, Virgo's talking a lot about work. Taurus is talking a lot about work and talking a lot about yourself and how you treat yourself and how you take care of yourself and the things that you deserve, which is why we have Taurus, the things that you deserve, how you deserve to be treated and how you treat others. everything under the sun, dealing with that. It's going to be quite an emotional time, which is why we have the moon coming up. I feel like there's going to be a lot of emotional strings being pulled, but it's going to be a good thing in the end. The fact that we have Saturn comes in with the reality of the world. So it's like, ooh, this thing didn't work out. You know it wasn't going to work out. It wasn't meant to be. And Libra talks about our important relationships and finally getting justice for a certain relationship, and balance needs to be made. Balance needs to occur in this relationship, and things need to be fair. And so that's why this relationship is ending, is because it wasn't fair and it wasn't balanced. So definitely keep that in mind. It'll be a good purge. I know it sounds hard. Anything like this is always hard, but it is all for the better. The next card that we have is the Earth element of stability, and then we have Cancer, I feel. So we do have the moon over here, and then, you know, Saturn and Virgo and Taurus are all like kind of earth sort of signs over there. So lots of correlation between those. Earth element stability, you're finally going to be finding your feet. You're finally going to be finding your ground and how to create a solid foundation for yourself. And that's why this relationship is going to end and fall apart, is because it was not built on a steady foundation. Things were unfair. Things were lopsided, which is why Libra comes in. It's like, we need to balance this out. And the way that you balance it out is by getting rid of the imbalance, by getting rid of the thing that didn't serve you and wasn't doing good for you. So definitely keep that in mind. I do feel like you guys are going to be creating more money for yourselves, which is why we have Earth coming up. So I do feel like you guys are probably even going to move to a different place, and there's a lot more independence that happens here. So I feel like you guys are going to be quite independent 3 years from now. The Cancer I feel card, this is like, we're going through a lot of emotional things internally, which is why we have the 3 of Swords and also the 10 of Swords. So it's like, yeah, lots of purging of old emotions, healing, which is why we have the moon over here. So lots of healing to be done. Keep that in mind. The next 2 cards that we have is Decrease and then the Loving Man. So immediately after this relationship ends, you might notice that there is a decrease in your financial abundance and stuff like that, though I feel like it will increase immediately after this does go away. But we're not immediately after, just a short while after this relationship goes away. I do feel like there's going to be an increase, but there is a cycle of, like, once it leaves, I feel like you're going to be purging so much that there will be an overall decrease of resources in your life, although that will come back up, I believe, around 6 months after all of this goes down. But first, while we purge things, a bunch of other things tend to go with it, and then we bring in the new things that actually fit us and actually serve us and actually create a beautiful, solid foundation, and one that we've actually wanted. So it's kind of like when there's an old couch in your house and you're like, oh, I really need to get rid of this. And so you end up dragging it outside by yourself, but in the process, maybe you end up scraping your floors and creating some bashes on your walls. But then you're like, wait a minute, those kind of needed to be repainted anyway, and the floors needed to be repolished anyway, or new floors are put in. Whatever the case may be, it's like kind of like that sort of scenario where, yes, it ends up dragging out a bunch of old things with it, a bunch of your other resources, and so for a time there's a decrease financially, in your love life, obviously, things that are around you, it feels like there's a slight decrease, but all of a sudden then you repaint those floors, you redo those walls, and all of a sudden it's way better than it was originally, and you feel really great, and all of a sudden you have a new couch in there and you're feeling so perfect, and everything's renewed and you feel great. So I do see that sort of cycle happening for you guys in 3 years from now. And then we also have the Loving Man. So this is kind of exciting. So I feel like after you do purge out these old relationships, or this old relationship particularly, the one that didn't work for you, I feel like you're going to attract someone to fill that space. So if it's a friendship, you're going to attract the best friend ever that you've always dreamed of, somebody that actually treats you very fairly, something that you actually deserve, that gives you back just as much love and abundance as you give to them. If it is a relationship that's ending, I feel like immediately, not quite immediately, but within that same sort of year, I feel like you're going to all of a sudden attract a new person. I got in my head immediately like 9 months. So 9 months after you purge this person out of your life, you're going to attract the love of your life that treats you so well. Oh my gosh, gives you back the same amount of love that you give them. Our next 2 cards, we have Security and then we have Delight. So With the security card, I feel like you guys are renewing your sense of safety, you're renewing your sense of like worth, your sense of foundation. And so for a while there, I feel like you were feeling a bit insecure, especially because of this relationship. I feel like this relationship particularly made you feel quite insecure, or made you feel not stable, made you feel unlike yourself. And all of a sudden you're gonna be able to find that again, and you're gonna be able to find your security and find your foundation, all that jazz. And then over here, delight. This is letting me know that all of a sudden you're gonna be basking in the joys of like, this person's probably gonna bring you flowers a lot, probably just gonna bring you a lot of just joy, abundance. Flowers represent, you know, like love, abundance, joy, exciting things. And so I feel like this person it's symbolizing that this person is going to treat you very well. Our next two cards that we have is pay attention to the red flags and emotional feelings. And so I know exactly why these are coming up. It's so crazy. I think I've said this in like every pile so far, but I just want to make it clear for you guys that when I choose these cards, I don't ever look at them before reading. I always I choose the cards while they're upside down and I put them into piles. I have no idea what's underneath those piles until I flip them out on the table. So I didn't even know that these oracle cards were in here until now, but they match so well the current reading. Like, pay attention to the red flags symbolizes exactly what you guys were going through in terms of like getting rid of this toxic person from your life, or this person that just, it didn't work out. That's why we have to pay attention to the red flags. You guys already know these red flags, but finally 3 years from now, it's like, okay, we're listening to those red flags. And then romantic feelings over here, all of a sudden this person's coming into your life, which is exactly what we've been having. So the oracle cards are preaching, they're organized so perfectly. It's so crazy how they always fall into the right pile. I don't know how it's done, but it's done and I like it. And our last card over here is beauty. I feel like you guys are going to reinvent yourselves. You're going to refine that love for yourself. The confidence is going to rise so much in 3 years from now, especially when you get rid of that person, because I feel like they're the ones that have been weighing you down. And so as you get over that, as you heal from that, there's this new sense of beauty. I feel like even you will be glowing so much more. I feel like your skin, your hair, your eyes, everything is just growing and glowing. So if you've experienced some health issues as well, I feel like that is going to be exiting your life around the same time that you release this person from your life. It's almost like it was very associated. The way that they made you feel emotionally took a toll internally probably for you. And so there's this new sense of like all of a sudden health and nourishment that's going to be revitalized in the future after this whole thing ends. So that is what I'm seeing for you guys. Pile number 4, I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. If you did, don't forget to give it a really big thumbs up for me. Hit that subscribe button down below if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys. All right, so my last pile number 5. If you guys chose this one, this is going to be all about where you're gonna be 3 years from now. So let's hop right into it. All right, so pile number 5, this is what we have for you guys. So we start off with the Fool, then we have the Prince of Pentacles, then we have the 5 of Cups reversed, and then we have the Knight of Pentacles upright. So let's get into what all of this means. First off, I want to point out that we have both the Prince and Knight of Pentacles. So these two kind of signify that you're going to be on a journey of increasing your abundance materially. So I do feel like you guys are going to be starting a new endeavor career-wise, or in terms of money or schooling or something like that. So there's a whole new journey being opened up in your career front in 3 years from now. I do feel like some of you guys are opening up your own business and starting it, and it's going to prove to be quite successful pretty quickly off the bat, and it's growing more and more. So the Pentacles do actually kind of grow a bit slowly, but it is definitely quicker than most because of the fact that we have both of them one after the other. So I don't feel like it's going to take as long as you anticipated to get off the ground, to get started. This can also mean that you guys are going to school for something, starting school for something, can also indicate that you guys are somehow just, money's going up. Monetary things are going up, which is good. The Fool in the beginning here, I do feel like you guys are starting a new path. So I feel like for most of you guys who chose this group, somehow you guys are starting a new path in terms of your career. So again, it could be opening up a business or going back to school for something, that kind of jazz. I do also feel like you guys are going to be getting over something. So if you guys were also attracted to pile number 4, I want to say pile number 4 was quite similar to this. But the 5 of Cups over here being reversed, this is like we're getting over something emotionally, but we're feeling really good. We're not really letting it bother us, but somehow we've changed our perspective. Instead of always feeling like the world was out to get us, instead of always feeling like things went wrong in your life, I feel like you're all of a sudden on this new path of like, I don't care. I'm gonna make things right. I'm gonna do everything to the best of my ability. I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna let the world or the universe or society tell me I can't do something. It's like this whole new level of motivation. It's gonna be really positive. I'm excited for you guys, to say the least. So let's add on some more cards to find out some more information on this. Ooh, okay. So we have Capricorn and Aries. So Capricorn is the earth symbols, just like the pentacles that we have over here. And this is talking about and indicating that, again, it's talking about going back to school for something, opening up your own business. Somehow your focus is on the material and creating more abundance in your life. And trust me, there's going to be a ton more abundance in your life. Capricorn usually indicates working from home, because I know a lot of Capricorns. It's a very Capricornian thing to want to make a lot of money and do it from the comfort of your home. So that might be definitely a thing that you guys are seeing, or it could be that you guys are going to school and you're doing it from home. Maybe you're taking an online course or something like that, or it could mean that you're just going back to school in general. Again, it is a general reading, so I'm just going to point out all the different options that I see here in front of me. And then the Aries, you're going to be redefining who you are. You're going to be really trying to discover who you are. And it's going to be on a whole new path, which is why we have the Fool over here, the pool. I almost said the pool. That's why we have the pool over here. Maybe you guys are going to be building a pool. Maybe that's why I said that. Maybe you guys are going to be wanting to find a house with a pool, or maybe you guys are going to be swimming a lot more. I don't know why that came out of my mouth, but it did. So maybe it has meaning. Probably not, though. Just random stuttering. So this line is really telling me, it's a very like Aries type. I'm getting an Aries vibe from it, even though the Aries is a ram, but the redness in them is really sticking out to me. So I feel like there's this like this power that is almost being fed because you guys went through something. I feel like maybe something like fell out of your life. Maybe you guys lost something in the recent past 3 years from now. And it's going to motivate you like no other. All of a sudden, you're going to get up on your feet like, I am going to win, I'm going to do, I'm going to create, and nothing's stopping me and nothing's going to stand in my way. It's this huge motivational feeling, and it's kind of inspiring me while I'm looking at it. Our next two cards that we have over here is Commitment and New Beginnings. Ooh, and look at it. Imagine if you could commit to him. Very, very nice. And New Beginnings. So this over here, this is like signing a contract over here. So I feel like, although I would like to say that you guys are committing to a man like that or a woman like that, depends on your sexual orientation, but this commitment card, I feel like you guys are signing a contract of some sort. So this is probably either going to school, taking notes on something, learning something, committing to a new career, or it can mean that you're signing a contract of like opening up your own business, starting your own business and getting the paperwork done for that. Somehow there's paperwork getting done over here. Commitment, it could also mean that you guys are getting married at this time because there's paperwork involved in getting married. So keep that in mind as well. That can always be an option. Maybe you guys are getting married to Ooh La La over here. The New Beginnings card over here, this is like all of a sudden this whole new world opens up. You're entering this new phase, which is why we have the Fool over here, and you guys are starting something brand new. There's this new idea that you guys are implementing, and it either has to deal with school or work, career, business, that sort of stuff. So keep that in mind. It could be some sort of investment. Maybe you guys are going to be buying your first house. I can also see that. Somehow contracts are going to be heavily involved 3 years from now. So contracts are coming in. Make sure that you read the fine print. But I do see everything's going to be actually okay because we only have good cards over here. So everything's Gucci. The next two cards that we have over here is Purity and Trust. So Purity. Ooh, I like how the eyes are different colors over there. That's really cool. So yeah, there's this new sense of like, even though I feel like you guys are going through some sort of loss, letting go of something, there's this new sense of like moving in the absolute correct direction, this cleanse, like you feel like you're doing the right thing. Everything seems to be on the up and up and just moving forward. There's this moving forward sort of feeling, and you guys are going to be really just like trusting your gut. Things are going well. Okay, guys, I don't feel like you're gonna have to worry about too much 3 years from now. It just seems like things are going really well. The next two cards that we have over here, oh, is soulmate and honeymoon. Ooh, so maybe some of you guys are getting married and that's why there's a contract over here. And maybe there's a honeymoon attached to this. There better be. If you guys are getting married and you're not going on a honeymoon, let's go on a honeymoon, guys. Come on. Even if it's a honeymoon at home, make some sort of honeymoon happen. All right, so soulmate over here. I feel like even though the focus is so much on career in these cards over here, I do feel like there's also this solid foundation, because the pentacles do also indicate a very solid foundation. So it can also be that you guys are entering a very committed time. So it can be a commitment in terms of marriage, or just that you're finding this soulmate of yours and you're entering into an actual committed relationship where you guys are boyfriend, girlfriend type of thing, or you're entering this new phase together. Maybe you guys are moving in together, buying your first house together, that sort of thing. And it's looking really exciting over here. If you guys are in a relationship already, I just feel like you guys are entering that new level of commitment. If you guys are single, I feel like you're going to find somebody that you're going to be pretty committed to, and solid foundations throughout, okay? There's good foundations, things are Gucci, you're feeling really good. In terms of career, I do feel like you guys are going to actually find where you belong career-wise. And with the honeymoon card over here, this is like we're on a really fun journey. We enjoy the journey. It's not a boring journey. The journey to our career, the journey to creating our own business, the journey of our relationship, it's all really positive when we feel very lavish about it. The last card that we have over here is protection. So I do feel like you guys are going to feel protected throughout this. I do feel like there's a lot of trust happening. I feel like you guys are going to finally trust in the universe. You're going to trust in yourself. You're going to have trust in this relationship. If you guys haven't had that before, all of a sudden there's this newfound trust. All that jazz. So that is what I'm seeing for you guys. Pile number 5. I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. If you did, don't forget to give it a really big thumbs up for me. Hit that subscribe button down below if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.